I've got some news.
What is it?
About you.
Because I was in the middle of a really deep thought there.
We were just discussing the Jets.
I don't like being interrupted.
We have a tweet.
Oh, popcorn.
And we have some information that comes along with that popcorn. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Haason Reddick
is
holding out of training camp because he wants a new contract extension from your Jets. As the biggest Jets fan in the world.
Joe Douglas will get fired.
How do you feel about this?
Well, here's the problem with this, and I can tell you this as gospel. When the Eagles made the deal to bring Haason Reddick in, all right, they sat down with Haason Reddick and his agent.
The Jets.
The New York Jets did. And they were very, very clear about their plans for Haason Reddick from a contractual standpoint. They told Haason Reddick, this isn't one of those, whisper down the lanes. This is a bunch of men and women executives sitting in a room face to face. And I can tell you as a fact that the New York Jets told Haason Reddick they were not going to rip up his current contract and give him a new one before the start of this year. And they had an agreement that if Haason Reddick had what for him is an average year, so whatever that is, 8 sacks, X amount of tackles, blah, 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 right? That he would get paid commensurate with his performance. And I was told the parameters of that deal, the numbers of that deal have been agreed to. But they would not redo his deal prior to the season. I was told that Haason Reddick agreed to that. His time in Philly had come to an end. He wanted a new situation, wanted to go play for what very well might be the best defense in all of football with him on the field. That's certainly possible. And that he was willing to roll the dice at this stage of his career, that I got a good year in me so that I will get paid. And they negotiated what that extension would look like after this year. So I can tell you this. The New York Jets are surprised by this.
Really?
The New York Jets had no problem with the offseason, not coming to practice and all that, and showing up in Japan or China, wherever he was, enjoying his offseason, right? There you go. But I can tell you as a fact, based on conversations I had with people with the Jets going back a few months now, to be fair, there was an expectation that this would not happen because they had the conversation, and at no point did they tell Haason Reddick, we are going to give you the extension you wanted from Philly prior to this season.
This is a problem.
Now, go ahead. I'm with you.
You want to talk about newsworthy? This is newsworthy because when you acquire, they give up a third round.
Yeah, I'll double check exactly what they give up.
Something like for Haason Reddick, and you lost a pass rusher to gain a pass rusher in Haason Reddick with the hopes that he would kind of solidify that other edge rush and then kind of stout your defense even more. And for this to be what's going on right now, again, I get it's early in training camp, but if all of what you said is true, this is bad. This is not a good look.
It's a conditional pick, not even this year. It's a conditional 2026 third-round pick. Now, here's a guy, 4 straight 11-plus sack seasons.
Yeah, wow.
He's a monster. Now, the New York Jets allowed a younger player, Bryce Huff, who's a homegrown guy, to go to Philly, actually, right? And they let him walk out the door, never made him an offer, because in their heads, we're bringing a veteran in who knows how to get to the quarterback. And to be fair, Bryce Huff played about 40% of the defensive snaps for them. He was not on the field every down. Haason Reddick probably plays 85, 90% of the defensive snaps in the Robert Saleh defense. This is not good. This is not good because if Haason Reddick at this stage of his career, and he's had a damn good career, if he's willing to dig in his heels, this becomes a problem.
Definitely.
Because as good as the Jets defense is, even without him, the New York Jets defense is built around that position getting to the quarterback. And they were counting on Haason Reddick, both from a veteran leadership standpoint, because the Jets have a very young defense, obviously, with the Williams brothers, with Sauce and DJ Reed at the cornerbacks, even Michael Carter. They're not an old defense. They're all in their 20s, all these guys. This is a problem. And this now becomes a Joe Douglas problem, the general manager. Do you cave in and get him signed because you need him, or do you let this play itself out? And if so, for how long?
Yeah, and the reason why it's a problem is because what you're selling to your fan base and everyone is that this is a Super Bowl contending team. that we're putting together. Like, and Haason Reddick has a lot to do with what your plans were
to the quarterback
to be that team. And like it not only just impacts, I don't think people understand like the impact that a pass rusher truly has. Not on just, getting after quarterbacks, but
break
the
it down
back
for us, Craig.
Because now you put extra stress on, if you can't get to the quarterback at the clip that you're hoping you could, you put extra stress on your secondary. Those guys are now, and we've seen Sauce Gardner play at a high level. We've seen the secondary play at a high level. But what we also have seen is the penalties start to go up because you got to grab, you got to hold a little bit longer, you got to cover longer. That's what tends to happen
if you don't get to the quarterback.
If you don't get to the quarterback.
Right.
This is why you go get a guy like Haason Reddick, who is known for getting to the quarterback at a high clip, to eliminate those types of things, to make those guys better and give them opportunity to be much more improved. So this is going to be very impactful if he's not there for this team.
My gut is that they figure it out.
I mean, you got to.
Because you have to, right. And the reality is that, if Haason Reddick doesn't play, the Jets don't give anything up. It's a conditional pick based on his performance. So I'm not worried about what they gave up to get him. They let Bryce Huff walk out the door as a free agent because they thought they were going to get Haason Reddick, right? So this now comes down to, in part, the pride of a player who feels like, look, I know I've made $50 million in my NFL career, but name the guys in this league who have 4 consecutive double-digit sack seasons like he has. And he also recognizes Father Time is working against him.
29 years old.
I'm only going to get one more contract. Whatever contract I ultimately sign with the Jets or whomever else, that's the last contract I'm getting in my professional career, because that's the way it goes, right? Going into your 30s as a defensive player. This becomes a huge, I don't know about distraction, but potential problem for the New York Jets.
How do you think it plays out?
Look, my gut is that they get it done. In the 5-year history now of Joe Douglas running the New York Jets, this has not happened. It doesn't happen with them. Now, to be fair, they also have not a lot of great players where a guy has the balls to sit out and can demand a certain contract based on his previous performance. They just haven't. They've been bereft of this level of talent. But when you consider the fact that your job is on the line, Joe Douglas, it is.
Yes.
Joe Douglas is the GM of the Jets, has never authored a winning season. So his job is on the line. All right, he's had some good drafts, great roster, 2 years ago. He's had some bad drafts. He's had some good signings, some bad signings. But he's never authored a winning season as general manager of the New York Jets. So I'm a big believer that when it's all said and done, while we all might be team guys and we want the best for the team, the network, whatever it might be, you also look out for yourself to some extent, because no one cares how you pay your mortgage, right? So if I'm Joe Douglas, it ain't my money. It's the old guy's money, right? So I'm willing to spend it. So now I got to make a decision because my career's on the line. I'm not getting another job as a general manager if I have a 5th consecutive losing season.
Yep.
If I've mortgaged my entire future on the prospects of Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers for one season, which is what they essentially did. So from that standpoint, I'm sure Robert Saleh goes into Joe Douglas's office and goes, Joe, don't let this happen. I need Haason Reddick on this field. He's a key part of what I want this defense to be. I don't think Joe Douglas doesn't go home and here's it from the wife. Hey, you better get Haason Reddick signed up because I'm not moving again. We got kids at home.
What's for dinner today? Nothing until you sign Haason
Reddick.
Right,
and I'm telling you, we forget sometimes that these are human beings.
Yeah.
And I'll guarantee you when Joe Douglas goes home, his wife or kids are like, yo.
How are we gonna get to the quarterback? They get to the quarterback in under 3 seconds.
Because I know that would happen when I go home all the time. I wouldn't get dinner tonight. Be eating out again. Yeah, I have a good Thai place near me, so I'm pretty lucky. But that being said, this is a big story. And this can't be one of those things that lingers on into mid-August.
I mean, they kind of saw this kind of trending in this direction because he hasn't been present.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.